Sounds like the instructor. Yeah.
No, I gotta.
So my instructor, he won the show. I guess he started. He won like an episode of. He's got.
All right, good evening, folks. Hate to bring the shenanigans to a close here, but we need to get our meeting started. So I think we're ready. Are we ready? Very good.
We're ready.
Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, August 21, 2024. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
Eric Diana.
Present.
Bob DiTomaso.
Here.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Roger Knapp.
Yes.
Lisa Germani-Williams.
Here.
Mayor Bixson.
Here.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Here.
Marilyn Trent.
Here.
Don
Everybody's
Sinkwitz. Christy Trevorrow. There is a quorum.
Full house.
Full house.
Gotta love it. Thank you
Everybody.
for, you're all doing the Lord's work this evening, so we appreciate it. First on the agenda, approval of the meeting minutes from last meeting, July 17, 2024. Any questions or a motion to?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Hank.
Second.
Support by Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Audience comments? No audience comments, so she'll march forward. Liaison reports. City Council, the Honorable Marilyn Trent, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone all together.
Yeah, that's nice.
All lined up. All right, so on July 22nd, our city council meeting, Frank Rewald, son, did a presentation on the updating of the Lions Park, one that we have talked about here off and on. So he's going to do it. And what he's going to do is clear out the brush. He's going to do landscaping, have some landscaping done. And then he is going to add a covered pavilion.
Who's doing this?
Frank Rewald.
Excellent.
Yeah. So they can do more programming there. Yeah. The library already was doing storytelling, so now they'll have a covered pavilion. And then we had the receipt of the OPC budget. On August 12th, the Clinton River Watershed Council Stormwater public education contract was renewed. I know that, stormwater's a little bit boring until things start flooding.
Or you have to
and
write
the streets
checks.
start getting a lot of water in it. So that was good. The consideration of the ordinance to amend our short-term rental policies was adopted. That means that only the commercially zoned districts can have short-term rentals, AKA your Airbnbs, your VBROs. And anything less than 27 days cannot be rented out in residentially zoned districts, starting now, I believe. Mr. Crott? Yeah, right. And if you know of anybody that's doing that, Fire Chief or City Hall would like to know. Nick Banda.
There are rewards.
No, no, there isn't. However, there is a reward of a peaceful maybe day, because some of the things that we were hearing, they were quite unpeaceful. But just to, not to belabor this, but it is also condos and apartments, anything that has the R in front of the zoning.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are in new territory, so we'll see how this plays out. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, very good. Any questions for our City Council liaison? Seeing none, we shall move forward. Chamber of Commerce, Mr. DiTomaso.
I did not get anything from Maggie, so I will, just made a note to reach out to her a couple days in advance before the next meeting to see if she's got anything.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Historical Commission, Mr. Sinkwitz, good evening.
Good evening. Paul, great article and
Oh, thank you.
very informative, very good.
Thanks.
Let's see, tomorrow we'll have the Historical Commission meeting, and during that meeting, we'll have a presentation by the Daughters of the American Revolutions, getting ready to celebrate the 250th year of the United States, the signing of the Constitution. So that meeting is set to discuss honoring the Revolutionary War ancestors, and I believe there's 4 or 5 that are buried in the cemetery now. So that's on the agenda. Also on the agenda tomorrow, we'll be discussing the Greater Rochester Heritage Festival, and I'm anticipating that we'll hear something from someone regarding the financial aspect of this year's festival. So I'll have much more to report, and as I get those reports out, or as I receive them, I'll send them out to Christie, and we can put them in next month's meeting, excuse me.
Happy to.
Okay. That's about it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Any questions for our Historical Commission liaison?
I have one.
Yes, Mr.
What time's the meeting start tomorrow?
7 o'clock
And it is,
here.
okay.
Very good. Anything else? All right, seeing none, we shall march forward. Principal Shopping District, Madam Director.
So Paul was unavailable, so I was pinch hitting for him at PSD. First of all, we did an election of officers at PSD, so we have a new chairperson and vice chairperson. Our new vice chairperson is Patty Eisenbraun, and our new chairperson is Joe Lutz. So they will be taking on the mantle of the PSD, and I already sent a note out to Ben so that they can connect and do all the work going
We'll
forward.
have a quick lunch with our new chair over there and start building that relationship. So looking forward to it. Jill's good. She's a good egg.
Yeah, she's great. So, and then the rest of the meeting was all about all the upcoming holiday events, including Lanyap, which is coming up. And hold on, I should double check my date to make sure here. On the 25th of November. So make sure you mark your calendar. It's a little late this year. We are confirmed for closing Main Street. We had already applied for that permit earlier in the year, so we will be able to close Main Street again. And as I think I mentioned during Goals and Objectives, the fireworks were a big hit, and our presenting sponsor of the Big Bright Light Show, John Fox, who is returning this year, has offered to also pay for the fireworks for Lanyap going forward. So we will have fireworks as well. Jenna was meeting with the fire chief last week to start working on plans and logistics and all that good stuff. So more to come on that, but will be a closed road, will be fireworks. In addition to that, we will be having Plaid Friday and Small Business Saturday, per usual. Snowman Stroll, the artist call is out now, and that deadline is August 30th, and then the committee will select designs after Labor Day, and that whole promotion now is being sponsored by Chief Financial Credit Union. So we're excited about that. This is our fourth. Time flies. So the snowmen should be descending on DPW in a couple weeks. Downtown Cookie Stroll is returning as well, so that'll be on December 6th. Pre-sale will be in November with that save the date going out. Kris Kringle Market, applications are out, and we are working with the police chief and with Nick about expanding the footprint. So first we're gonna see if we can get enough vendors to expand, and then if so, we have some big ideas of how we can actually loop south on Walnut to make it more of an L, if you will. So we'll be able to spread that out. Some more information to come on that. They will be continuing Pancakes and PJs, which is this Cue as a Button fundraiser that we do in collaboration with the fire chief. The only event that the PSD has elected to not continue is caroling in the city. So you may be aware caroling in the city usually took place 2 Sundays before the holiday. It was an answer to people that really wanted Main Street closed so that they could, get their pictures, do their thing, have it a little bit more quiet. We found decreasing attendance over the years, and now that we can close Main Street on Lanya, PSD felt like rather than putting the money there to expend, maybe there's more things that we could do for the holidays in a different way that would be more impactful for the businesses as well. So caroling will not be continuing this year, but everything else is status quo and full steam ahead. Our replacement lights arrived at DPW last Friday, so install starts in 30 days.
All Christmas, all the time.
That's how we live, man.
Mr. Hague.
Pumpkins out
Scarecrows
first.
in the city?
Yes, they are continuing that. That went out to the merchants this week as well. That's separate for anyone who's not familiar. Rochester Hills Museum at Van Hoosen Farm, that they do for their Stonewall Pumpkin Festival. They also have a scarecrow element of that. So local businesses and organizations design scarecrows. They're on display at the Stonewall Pumpkin Festival, and then they move downtown for the rest of the month of October on the different light poles. So I know that the scarecrow workshop is on, I believe, the 3rd. And then I believe that Stonewall is on the 12th. So, and then they move downtown in time for Trick or Treat Downtown, which is the 19th.
Gotcha. Very good. Any other questions for the director with respect to the principal shopping district? Seeing none and marching forward, Mr. Bry, good evening. Thank you for joining us. We've got you on 2 items on the agenda, our update and then the placemaking grant. So good evening, thank you.
Good evening, thank you. Always a pleasure to be in Rochester. John Bry, coordinator for Main Street, Oakland County. First things first, brought the plaque. Christy's over here smiling. And I always turn to Christy because I can never remember. This is number 20?
This 20?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 20.
Yeah. So we conducted the annual accreditation site visit early this year. We normally do them beginning of the calendar year for the previous year. And of course, Rochester came through with flying colors. This is really the first year that Main Street America has changed and adapted their accreditation standards. They've actually been working on this for at least 9 years, and this is the first time that they've actually started to roll it out. Christy and I agreed, the process left a little bit to be desired as they get the bugs worked out, but it worked out okay. We had 21 of the 28 Main Street communities across Oakland County that were either accredited, like you were, or they were affiliated. That's a new designation with National Main Street. So we were pleased as a county we had so many communities that made some benchmarks at some level, with the accreditation being the highest. The accreditation level, like Rochester, we had 12 communities that achieved that status. And the accreditation standards now pretty much have a lot of the same that was in the past in terms of broad-based support, gets into a lot of detail about strategy through the organization and the district, funding, collaboration with local government. So it's a lot of the same standards that they used before, but they've been condensed and they added a little bit more information to each one of those again. So again, I had wonderful meetings and conversations with the various leadership and stakeholder while we were in town for that half day. And congratulations, you passed with flying colors. I shouldn't say pass, it makes it sound like a test. You meet the standards, the accreditation standards. And that's a good thing because many times throughout the year, Main Street America and National Main Street sometimes put out some grant and training opportunities that they really give priority to communities that are accredited as their first choice for when they make those decisions. They're competitive, but they do try to give first priority to those accredited communities, so it's a good thing. And of course, being in the Main Street Oakland County family as accredited community, we like to give priority to those communities too, and try to give you more resources and money as much as we can so you can keep doing the good things that you're doing in downtown Rochester. So without further ado, for those who know the shtick here, picture time. I'm going to present this to Christy.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on number 20. And bragging rights, I believe Rochester is the only Main Street community in the county that has been accredited that many times.
You know it.
So bragging rights for you guys. Congratulations.
You need to get in there. I can take photos.
Everybody, come on now.
Everyone, come on.
Stand up and.
Come on.
Stand up and be counted.
This is how we do it. I know. This is how we do this.
I wore jeans today.
Yeah, John, you get in the picture too.
It'll be at the bottom half.
Okay,
I'll get it.
yeah, no, come on, man, you gotta get in here.
Where's Christy?
We got the blue light.
Well, I'm standing way up.
Me too.
What's gonna happen? Okay, I'm here.
I think you guys win the award for biggest picture too.
Yeah, we will. All right, Tony and Bob, you're gonna have to peek out.
Okay, we're peeking through here.
Oh, somebody could bend back.
There's down the chairs, guys, like that. That'll.
Yeah,
The
the mayor's so tall.
step that way. Bob, take a step that way.
It's Marilyn hugging the mayor, that's what it is, okay?
Oh, I have to go one way or the other.
Okay.
Good job. Thanks, John.
So congratulations on number 20.
All right, fantastic.
Then I couldn't be in them.
Right? It's like my wife, she always says, I'm never in the pictures, I'm always taking those.
Always the one taking them.
Real quick, if you didn't notice, we did pay some kudos, at least internally in Main Street Oakland County, for 25 years of Christie's career, so.
Yeah, that is.
So congratulations to Christie too, and I not, say anything that you guys don't already know, but Christie is truly a legend in the Main Street world. Not only in Oakland County and Rochester and Michigan, but nationwide.
Yeah.
And she's always willing to be a mentor, and everyone, literally, when Christie starts speaking about what you guys do in Rochester, all the other Main Street managers are typically taking notes and asking, can we get a copy? Can we get a copy? So you guys are being copied a lot. And she's always been willing to lend a hand to all the Main Streets, not only locally, but beyond, and speak nationally at the national conferences. So congratulations to Christie, who is the longest serving Main Street director in Oakland County. That's a good thing. So fantastic.
It's not an age thing, by the way.
No, it's not. I kind of paused. I don't know how to say this.
How do you say this? It's not.
I didn't think it was till now.
I'm kind of looking at her, I'm like, ooh, don't hate me.
Right,
This is
yeah,
going to
yeah,
sound
yeah.
like it's going to say
We
that,
always
so.
tease her, she's a legend in her own mind, but
Yes.
it's not true. We all know,
true.
we're extraordinarily blessed with her talent and also with the support and Karen feeding from Oakland County. So
Yes.
we couldn't do without you guys, so we appreciate you.
Thank you. Christie wanted me to mention a speaker presenter that we had at the most recent Main Street Managers meeting a couple weeks ago in Royal Oak. Laura Kunkel joined us. She's the executive director of American Bloom, national nonprofit based in Columbus, Ohio. And as long as I've been around Main Street, which is just about as long as Christie, across the country.
It's going to become a thing, isn't it?
I've always heard about American Bloom, but I was always surprised that I'd not seen a lot of communities in Oakland County engaged with it. And they're doing a lot of work up in Orion Township and Lake Orion particularly. Really great program that has national experts working with beautification that will come to the communities, work with you, give you advice, guidance, just continue to look for ways to make the community more attractive, not just the downtown, but looking at the whole community. And like Laura said during her presentation, she wants you to show them the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't just show them the pretty parts. They want to show the parts that you want to improve too. So during that meeting, we had a conversation that there are only 2 other countywide chapters of American Bloom. And so we asked all the managers and posed the question to Laura, what if Main Street Oakland County became a American Bloom chapter, and we pull in all the Main Street communities in the county as part of that? And it seemed pretty consensus that everyone was very interested in doing that. There's a cost to that. If all 28 Main Street communities in the county did that, it would be roughly a $26,000 commitment. So I need to talk to my bosses and see how we want to potentially do this, and maybe only work with the communities who are absolutely going to use it, because last thing we want to do is make that commitment and then the communities don't use it as a tool. They do have some grants available through CNN Railroad that comes through Oakland County. Several of the communities are eligible for those grants. I believe they're $25,000 in that range that can be used for beautification. And to my knowledge, I think only Ferndale and Orion Township have gone after that funding before, because I think a lot of the communities just weren't aware. They have a conference coming up that's going to be in Columbus, and then their sort of regional meeting is going to be here. They're coming to Orion Township. They're staying in Rochester at the Royal Park. So there's going to be kind of a cool connection that they're going to be coming to town in the very near future. So very cool opportunity that we're looking to bring another tool to the toolbox for the Main Street communities, and see what we can potentially get from that to continue to support you guys in your work.
And Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett has already reached out to me, wants to maybe organize some tours, some different things, because we'll be doing the meetings at the hotel. So that'll be exciting. Yeah.
For sure.
So that's that. And then the last thing I'll mention is we are in the process of doing our new fiscal year budget for Main Street Oakland County. We're kind of on a 2-year cycle. We're coming to the end of one 2-year cycle. And it's my hope that our budget stays intact, but we're hoping to increase the amount of technical assistance dollars that we provide to the community. So on average, our direct dollar allocation to Rochester in the past has been around $11,500, with some additional opportunities to add onto that. So using that base of $11,500, we're looking to hopefully bump that up to $15,000 beginning of the next fiscal year, which begins October 1.
You are singing the song of my people.
Excellent.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions for me?
Nope. I
Guess I'm
think
gonna hang around?
Yeah, well, the next one is the placemaking grant.
Okay.
Yeah, so just kind of a quick sort of synopsis
are?
on that. Yeah.
So the ball's in your court.
Yep.
To sign the interlocal.
Yep.
Comes back to the county, and Chairman Woodward then signs off on them. So the plan is, we hope to have all the interlocals back here by the first couple weeks of September. Of the 14 communities that are involved in that, including you guys, I think we currently have 7 interlocals that are back, so about half of them are back already. So once we get them all back, we will have a group meeting with all the community leadership to discuss next steps and how we begin the process of the payments. Our plan is to, once we have the interlocals back and we confirm with the county how to do the process of the payments, we're looking to upfront 75% of our allocation upfront. So you have cash to work from, and then as the project progresses, we'll ask for a couple status reports and do the final 25% before September of 2026. Gotcha. The money from the county has to be spent by September 2026, but that doesn't mean, because we know some of these projects are larger and they have other sources of funds, if you're not quite done, you're still working on it, that's fine. But at least the county's portions of the funding has to be spent by that time.
We have people that want us to get that thing open, so if we're sitting here in 2026 and I don't have that thing open yet, I have a feeling that I will be run out of town on a rail.
So we're excited that we finally got that through. Largest investment in Main Street Oakland County in its 24-year history with 5.
We are eternally grateful for your support and effort in that regard, and can't thank you guys enough. I think on our side, it was just a timing issue. We tried to get it on the council's agenda for the last meeting, and city said it was just the agenda was a mess. We pushed it to this next one. So what we're talking about, just in case anybody doesn't know, is the actual money for the grants. So so that's coming to council next meeting. So I think it'll be on your agenda. Monday, yeah.
Monday.
So
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
The Board of Commissioners flag us when they get a completed agreement in, so they will know.
Yeah, right. All right, fantastic. Well, again, can't thank you enough for your continued support and mentoring and hand-holding and just general love for the community of Rochester, and it's a two-way feeling, so I just want to thank you for all of your efforts, and we appreciate you.
You're welcome. Congratulations again. Thank you. Anything else?
Just one thing, if I could tell them about what you're funding the team and I to go for next month. So for the technical service and education, when John met with us during accreditation, he said, what are you guys looking for? I said, well, obviously we want something to go along with the Market of the Graham, that the team is really in promotions committee, everybody's talking about programming. Everybody's asking us about programming. And so we wanted to kind of do something, I challenged John, like, what can I do like for best practices and things like that? And so we started talking about, if anyone's familiar with Magnolia in Waco, where they have yes,
There's limited
that's
seating.
exactly what Taylor does when we talk about Magnolia. But same thing, that it's a great placemaking area. If you're not familiar with it, Chip and Joanna Gaines, who are on HGTV, that they bought this area and revitalized it. They've rehabbed a hotel. They rehabbed what they call the silos, which is where they have their stage. They have their green where they do events. They do markets. They have retail. They do click all the boxes, really. And so we started talking about that. I'm like, that would be interesting, but I don't think you're going to fly us to Texas for that. He's like, well, let's talk about this. So we started talking about it, and what has started out as, hey, we really think Magnolia is cool, has turned into this rapid-fire turbo tour of Texas, where we're starting out in San Antonio, and we're visiting the Pearl. Tanya is like killing it down. She's so excited right now. All right, so we're starting at the Pearl, which is a food hall and farmers market, and we're going to do the Riverwalk tour, and then we're going to be heading to Austin after that, and going to the Texas Farmers Market, which is housed in Austin, and we're getting a secret food tour in Austin because we think that's something else close, so it's a combination of their art and food. And then from there, we're moving on to Waco.
I missed my invitation. But
Yeah, I missed mine too.
Yeah, well,
I got the itinerary, so I can tell you where they're going.
Jen and Taylor are a little scared because I sent them their itinerary, like, this is a lot. I'm like, yeah.
Just as long as
Like,
you hit,
we're going- if we're
just make sure
going,
you hit
we are-
Terry Black's while you're there and get the best barbecue in Texas.
That's
you'll be
correct. We can rest when we're dead. So we're doing all the things. So going to Waco, doing that there, spending the day. We've already got tours booked with Magnolia, and then we're going into Dallas for the last day to go to Dallas Farmers Market.
Perfect.
And a different arts installation, and then flying out of Dallas.
That's the benefit of our county relationship, people.
Yes,
So,
and the county is covering that for all of us, and we are super excited, and it's
Going
good.
to Grapevine too?
We're going to try and hit into Grapevine. We're also going to try to swing to Arlington. Like I said, the team is a little concerned about the intense activity schedule that I have so far. But I figure if you're going to send us, I want to see everything.
Red Bulls, just lots of Red Bulls.
Tanya's excited about that. My original suggestion, because I was in London a couple Christmases ago, I'm sending Christy pictures like, look at their Christmas lights. And
Yeah, I didn't think I had a shadow of a chance of getting anybody to send me to London, so I just skipped that.
I'll send you to London now.
Yeah, right.
But,
right.
so excited about the Texas Roundup.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. So, well,
Yes.
thank you for that. That's fantastic. So I'm glad that all got put together, and happy that things spiral out of control that we don't have to pay for. It's very good. So.
Yes, but we're excited because we'll be able to bring back both placemaking, the art, the food, like
Yeah,
all
there's
the
some-
different
yeah.
pieces. Because our intention, as we told John, is we're happy, obviously we'll put together a presentation for, this board, but then we'd love if the county wanted us to do anything for trainings for future. But we're really excited for the opportunity, and that Oakland County has enough faith in us to know that we are not going to go on, as Nick calls it, a boondoggle.
Yeah. Well, in my business, they refer to that as dollar cost averaging, right? So
Yes.
spreading out the things.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for that, appreciate it. John, as always, thanks a ton. We, value the relationship, as I said, and onward and upward. Now we got to build us a farmer's market, right? So-
Yes, sir.
One brief note, so you know that we had the main event in Rochester, our awards ceremony. Thank you again for the sponsorship support, appreciate that. So we've already decided, everyone loved the venue. We had a pretty much full house.
It was at the
pretty much,
Roxy.
At the Roxy, yeah, it was great. So we already have decided internally, we're coming back to Rochester.
Oh, awesome.
Because 2025 will be the 25th anniversary of Main Street Oakland County. Rochester was the first and original Main Street Oakland County community, so we're bringing the 25th back.
Still
to
here.
That's awesome.
Thanks again.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
See you guys later.
Yep. All right, well, now talking about money coming in, let's talk about it going out.
That's
All
you.
right, so this is a standing agenda item with respect, just sort of the Graham update. So it's sort of just 50,000 foot cliff notes. We've been through planning. Planning referred us, approved door number 1 and door number 2. Option 1 is as originally presented to council and the DDA board, which you guys approved. It is the structure as is with the lack of a better descriptor, sort of the parking thing, the hard structure up against the bank, the lights going across, the building as is, as presented. So basically, door number 1 is the pictures, the pretty pictures that everybody has seen so far. In going through the due diligence of this, and I think I've told you guys about this a couple different times, plus in various communications, in actual purchase of the property, we found that there's a couple of existing non-conformances, one of which, if we continued the building as designed, it would continue to go out into this right-of-way. So that we were suggested by the city manager to come up with a Plan B, which took the building and kind of cockeyed it a little bit. I think somebody at planning referred to it as, it looked like home plate. It kind of like shifted a little bit. But what it did is it took the building and shifted it to the west, I guess, and got us out of the right of way. So personally, I thought it was goofy. It took a chunk of the square area where the bathrooms area and made it much smaller. But it checked the boxes in terms of getting, not exacerbating the nonconformance. So we were encouraged to submit the plan as was originally drafted to ZBA. We have them on Monday evening. Everything's been submitted, and I guess, we.
Next Wednesday.
Oh, next Wednesday, sorry, my bad.
Wednesday. Council
Monday's
Monday.
council, yeah, right,
Yep.
sorry. Next Wednesday. So everything's been submitted. I drafted a communication sort of explaining our position. We have one from the architect, I think, the plan in general. The city manager did his report. Mitzelfeld had his letter of support of the putting, the door number one option. So fingers crossed, we'll get before ZBA on Wednesday, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're encroaching upon ourselves, so I'm hopeful that they'll sort of say that, yes, it's, and as I said before, we don't expect any special treatment, we're just like anybody. But that said is that we own all the contiguous property all the way around it, and we're in effect encroaching on ourselves, so hopefully we'll prevail. If we don't, then we'll go to door number two, and I'll be back before you to kind of explain that. But both of those plans have been on planning's website. They were in the agenda for the planning meeting, 3 weeks ago or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you wanted to go take a peek at the home plate switcheroo deal, the only other change that we made to that plan was based on planning. They asked us to, or it was strongly suggested to include more bathrooms. So we put a couple more stalls in, which didn't really change a whole lot, just made the bathrooms a little bit bigger and the storage area a little bit smaller. So, but that was a good suggestion because they're public restrooms and it's a great idea. So we took that and we ran with it. So a week from tonight, ZBA. So fingers crossed, pray for us.
One question.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to present on that Wednesday?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yep. God willing, I will be there. So also tonight in the packet, we received, I guess we can just do C and D at the same time. These were sort of all together. So we received, from a cadence standpoint, the architect put together the pretty pictures and all of the stuff to get us to the point where the plan was accepted. Now we're at the point where we have to officially engage the architect to draw, spec everything out down to, the minute detail, put together construction drawings, and then we go out and hire a construction manager to do that work. So before us this evening is the quote that was received from the architect. And then I also had Christie print up the original budget from April for you guys, just so you had that too. You should have it up there too.
Yeah, everybody's got it.
Oh, okay, good.
He has
Very good.
both of them. Yep.
All right, so this black and white sheet is from the April 15th quote, and this is what we came before council. And once again, the number all in is still $2,366,485. We knew going in there was going to be right church and wrong pew. There's going to be some are higher or some are lower, but we're still, within that budget margin. But with respect to this item in particular, the original estimate back in April was $109,349, and this would be under soft costs, line 3, professional fees, architecture, structure, and M.E.P. I don't know what that stands for.
Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Got it. All right. So it's all the drawings and stuff, and they had $109,349. In talking with Steve Auger, their quote came back at $157. In the major driver of that is they're having construction administration, I was informed, which is managing the process. So it's about 50 grand higher than was originally estimated. So I pushed back a little bit and we had some conversations. But in talking with them, the stuff that they're doing for the extra money makes sense to me. So I would recommend us moving forward with the Auger quote. To be perfectly honest with you, we've got $250,000 in sort of contingency in the budget already. So some are going to be higher, some are going to be lower. This is one of the items where, honestly, my recommendation is not to cheap out. Plus, I don't want to switch horses midstream, and I'm not saying that because I don't think it's. I think it's in the city's best interest and the GDA's best interest to keep marching forward because a lot of this work has already been done. I would not recommend going out or re-quoting all of this. So. This is more of a informational thing, and then also saying this is what the quote is, and I'm looking for direction. Do we want to go forward? That's just my opinion of where things are at, but I am an army of one here. So.
We would need a motion, Mr. Chairman, correct?
That is correct. Motion to accept the Auger Klein and Aller Klein Auger.
Auger Klein Architects.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Ellen, that's
motion
Ellen.
to accept the Auger Klein Aller Architects, Inc. proposal
for 157,
For
not to
157,000.
exceed.
What's that?
Not to exceed?
Not to exceed, 157.
Okay, all right, good. All right, is there support?
Words are important, yeah.
Yeah, they are, especially for this.
See part.
Yeah, 100%. Is there support for the motion?
I'll support the motion.
Support by Haig. Discussion.
In order to soften the potential a little bit, we might look at the construction administration as an allowance not to exceed.
Okay.
So if we don't require that much of their assistance, that 25,000 might be reduced.
This is why
Just
it's
as a
very
thought.
important to have builders on your board, because they tell you these things. So would the maker of the motion and the seconder accept that friendly amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, awesome. Okay, any other further discussion? Seeing none, it's an expenditure of money, so will be a roll call vote. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll.
Paul Haig,
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Bob DiTomaso,
Yes.
Eric Diana,
Yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten,
Yes.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Mayor Bixon,
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Fantastic. All right, so now next steps are, this has been approved, so the construction drawings will be created. And the next thing is I need sites help big time. This is where we're flipping it over the curb to you guys, right? So two things, Tony and I have already been talking about some of the line items with respect to asphalt and all this other stuff, but really this is your guys' thing, right? So recommendation as to construction manager, we had retained Rewald before. I have no horse in the race, whatever, those guys did a fine job. So I'm just looking for some direction, the board is looking for some direction in that regard, and then we kind of go from there. So I TO it to whoever on site wants to.
Bob, you're gonna take, have we talked about a construction manager yet, or no?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
I personally, I think it would be a wise move. Auger and Rewald share the same building, they can collaborate
Yep.
together. This budget's gonna be no secret,
Yeah,
so it's whether Rewald can accommodate our budget or not. And so I would be in favor of approaching them to see if they would be our construction manager.
Should I call Jason up and set something up? Or we'll go sit and talk to him one afternoon, or Jason and Sean?
Yeah, and we could do, site met last month, I think it was last month when we were at your place, talking about that, and so we wanted to talk to Rewald, but also, Dan's Excavating, which, does a lot of work in town. They had shown some interest in possibly being, the GC for the project, because they actually have an electrical division, they have a lot of things, so some things that they would have, some other companies wouldn't necessarily. So just to kind of have a level playing field, because it's good to get bids.
yeah, for sure.
So, I talked to them and they were interested in seeing the package once it's done to see what there is. And then I think Nick had a suggestion of somebody else that the city works with, that from, AEW, a recommendation from them. So that if we had three, then we know that
Yeah, yeah,
whatever we're
yeah.
doing
Oh,
that.
no, that's a no-brainer, so.
Yeah.
All right, so it feels like, AKA can go ahead and create the construction drawings, get that part going, and then, we'll, entertain bids for the three mentioned. So you guys coordinate that, just kind of get that out, and then when we get together for our September meeting, we should have some clarity around that point, right? Yeah, and then maybe pick a horse by then, I would think.
Should the city engineer,
Mr. Mayor, yeah, of course, yeah, sorry.
shouldn't the city engineers be involved in that process of?
Yeah,
looking at
they
the
have
bids
been
and-
too. I know that Nick had already talked to them about what we're working on. That's why in this bid, there's a couple things that say no charge. AEW is handling those for us. They've been doing civil for us already, and so they're aware, once we start the
But I'm
documents.
saying, shouldn't the three bids get sent to AEW?
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I would do-
whatever the normal process is, that's fine, yeah. Have those guys bounce it and,
Yeah, I mean, if
I mean, they're gonna be what they're gonna be,
open to
right?
it, sure, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great idea. Yeah. All right, so, I think we got a decent plan moving forward. All I know is that we haven't done anything over there yet, so, this has the sign, I haven't been down the street. Do we flip the sign already, or is it still saying animal?
The sign will be flipped on Friday.
Gotcha, okay,
Yep.
all right. I just asked them to kind of flip the sign,
Yeah,
so. it's
but we
like-
did take over all the maintenance and all that, so the grass will be cut, the bushes will be trimmed, all that
Gotcha.
good stuff. So
Yeah, I don't wanna have this, the fire chief step up the politeness on us.
that would be awful, so.
Oh dear, okay, all right, so with that, that's essentially the update on the project, so, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but this is good, so once we get these drawings done, then we'll get construction, and then we'll be off to the races. I mean, honestly, we haven't heard anything from, the feds yet, right?
Nope. I checked again this morning. I check every morning. Last time we heard, it was right after Labor Day when we got the news that we didn't get it. So
Gotcha.
no news is good news at this point.
So, we're gonna be doing a groundbreaking soonish. As soon as we get some direction on that, I don't want to, stub our toe and be pulled out of some potential funding by starting the project too early. But that said, is we do have to keep moving forward and put the hammer down, as it were. So, all right, fantastic. Any questions for myself or our site or anybody else with respect to the project?
Do we need to put the bid for the construction on like BidNet or anything like that so anybody else could bid, or is this gonna just be closed?
So we had asked Nick about that, and he said because this is a professional service and we already have our drawings, we're doing specific things, that it is our opportunity if we wanted to select 3 pre-qualified people that we could do that. We did check with Oakland County, just like we got the special rates for AKA. They do not do that for construction, which I didn't think they would.
And it's
but
not a huge, I mean, I hate to say it's money, but it's not a very big project, so I don't know who, I don't know who would do that. I agree, that'd be an ideal, perfect world, but I don't think.
If we don't need to, I mean, honestly, it's a superfluous step that we can avoid, like.
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
So,
Yeah, we're good. And we'll,
Sure what kind of a bid you get and that kind of thing either with.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we'll just wait and follow direction from the experts that we've retained to provide such guidance.
Do we have an idea how long construction drawings take?
Do not, I
they,
was,
here, they had specified it could go as long as 12 weeks, but I know they've already been working on things, and the 12 weeks also that was all the way up to signing the contract documents. So that's all the way up to through bidding. So I don't know we're actually gonna have physical documents, but that's them going all the way through us selecting someone and starting, so.
no, so the drawings will, I'll call Steve and have him put the hammer down, so. That's the nice thing about dealing with somebody that's already been, we're already down the path, so.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Are we good?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Marching forward, granary project, Mr. City Attorney. Good evening and welcome to the Rochester Downtown Development Authority.
We all showed up just for you.
No, this is good. It's a full house. So hello, for those who don't know, I'm Jeff Crock. I'm the city attorney. And we wanted to come before you today to talk about a project that we all kind of know about, which is the granary on the elevator site. And this is not a request for action, DDA, but more of an informational, just because we don't like to have surprises. And since this topic deals with the DDA, we wanted to make sure that we educate and to let you know what's going on in this situation. So the project itself covers 2 parcels. And hopefully in your packet, I'm a visual guy, so I put together or printed this off, and it covers 2 parcels, and the 2 parcels came into the DDA at different times. And you would think, who cares? And that's how I would think as well. They're in the DDA, there's no issues, except for the project itself was approved, and as part of the approval of any project, one of the approval project or conditions is to combine the lots, right? Because then you don't have to worry about setbacks from yourself, right, to your point earlier. And to just, so you don't have buildings going over property lines. So very common. So the project was approved, went through planning commission, went through city council as a special project. Everything is going hunky-dory. This is a Moshery project. And then we received a reach out saying, hey, from the Moshery folks, specifically their attorney, John Primo, who's here today. We've worked on several projects over the years, so he's here for support in case I say something incorrect. So their lender said, yeah, by the way, you have to combine these lots because you have buildings going over lot lines. And they said, no problem. So as they do, they submit a request to combine the lots to the county. And they, thinking that everything's going to be fine, the county says, oop, wait, we can't combine these lots. Why? So apparently because they came in 2 different times, they have 2 different base years. So the one parcel came in 1983 and one came in 1995. So as you know, one of the benefits of having a DDA is that it captures taxes going forward on increased values over the years. So the one parcel was set in 1983, and therefore increases the DDA captures the tax increases. There's no difference, by the way, there's no difference to the developer and any of this, except for they need it approved and their financer needs to finance this. So the other project, or the other parcel, came in 1995, and so has a 1995 tax year. And again, attorney, not a math guy, but they said, well, we can't combine those because they have different relationships to all the taxing authorities. So city's taxes gets captured, the county's taxes get captured, and school of some sort gets captured. So there's different ways, different levels of what year they started the capture. And so the county says, we can't combine those because each parcel is different, relationship with the taxing authorities. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to do this, from completely pulling these parcels out of the DDA, because then we don't have a DDA capture difference, and didn't really like that because, from a DDA's perspective, you would lose any capture on that. So we went, trying to say, well, maybe if we move the property lines and so that the buildings don't go over the lines, and that didn't work. And so there's really 2 options that the city is faced with. One is, in order to allow this project to move forward, these have to be combined. That's the bottom line. So 2 ways to do it. One is to pull both of the parcels out of the DDA, and the other one is the county was trying to be creative in this, and because they haven't dealt with this, at least the current group of people there, they're like, we don't really have a precedent or path forward on this. But what we would do is, if the city gives direction to us, we would, and direction by way of amending the development plan, right? The TIF plan, development plan, that's your underlying document, is if the city amends the plan and says, county, we're gonna take the 1983 parcel out of the 1983 tax group and moves it to the 1995, then they would be on the same path, and then we would be able to combine it and the project moves forward. So trying to think of pros, cons, or like, what does this actually mean? And so we're not gonna amend the boundaries. It's, because we all know what happens if you start amending boundaries, people can opt out, entities can opt out. We didn't want it to do that. So what this does, it's really, I'm not gonna say a housekeeping issue, but it kind of feels like a housekeeping issue on our end is the best way to explain this. We're trying to move the 1983, so you're gonna miss, the downside to DDA is you're gonna have a reset of the base year for that half of the parcel, right, from 83 to 95. So we're like, okay, what does that actually mean in dollars, right? Because everyone wants to know what the dollars are. And I think Ben, maybe you reached out to Anthony. I talked to Anthony, and so he took a look at the numbers. Because it's essentially dirt, there's not a whole, let's call it what it is, right? There's not a whole lot of capture that's changing. So resetting it from 83 to 95, you're looking at about $1,050.
Yeah, it was a grant.
It really, I was pleasantly surprised that it was such a low amount. So what would happen then, if the city council then approves doing this process, it would be a resolution amendment to the development agreement. And then city says, okay, to the county, please process this. We've done this now. Please go ahead and process the lot combination. So we think it's as good as that's the quickest path forward and the easiest, and it makes the most sense. It would take, since it would be amending the plan, it would take a public hearing. So we'll handle that with city council. It is, even though it's a DDA issue, it is a city council who votes on the DDA plans and all that kind of stuff. So any questions? I know it's kind of a unicorn issue that you probably, but it's essentially resetting a tax year for the capture for one half of that parcel, or one of the parcels, one of the two parcels. If I can boil it down.
All right, so the city attorney, administration, myself have been kind of going back and forth on email over this, and I said, well, at the end of the day, what's it cost? And Marcy came back with $1,000. I'm like, this is a no-brainer for us, right? So, and we're always going to be good partners with the city. We want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to, to promote development, right, in the district. So my read and recommendation, the proverbial no-brainer, is just to go ahead and move this up to 95 and be done with it. So what action, presuming the board agrees with that, what action do you need from us to?
Nothing.
Okay.
No, just
Like
more of an
a resolution
educational,
or
like,
some kind of vote saying we recommend, or?
you know what, if to do something proactive.
Yeah.
That I could report to city council.
Yeah.
Because one of the things we didn't want to do, right, is to go to city council and then DDA members, you all are like, hey, whoa, what's
Yeah,
going on?
right.
So that's the educational piece
Sure.
that we want to bring. But I would like it if you said that you, maybe a vote of support for this action to take place, so that if I go to, when we go to city council, because it really, it really is, the only negative is to the DDA temporarily, right, until it gets built, and then you get all this
Right.
capture back. So
Okay.
we want to keep that, the full project in the DDA.
Right.
Your capture stands to be significant.
Yeah, I was presented both choices. I was like, that one's not gonna work. This one's easy, so let's do this one.
So maybe a vote of recommendation to proceed with that option.
Gotcha.
Would be helpful to me.
Gotcha. So, would anybody like to help the city attorney out by making such a motion? As chair, I cannot make motions.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Hague, support by Diana. Voice vote or just regular?
Just, yeah.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous motion carries from DDA in support of your efforts to develop our downtown. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. We'd like to, hopefully you'll have, this will be an investment in our future.
Yeah, I think, and we're, Mosheri, we're really, you guys have been great, and we want to be as supportive as we possibly can, and just anything to make things easier, you guys know that we got your back, so just, come help us, and I feel like Jerry Maguire, help me help you, right?
That's right, that's right. So thank you.
You bet, yes, show me the money, exactly, that's next up, that's why you're here, right?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir,
You have that on your computer, those two
I do,
lots?
yeah.
So what is it, okay, I know
It's the Moseri lot, or the elevator,
Yeah, we're combining the two into the same year, and
Line represents.
yeah, the two different
Yeah,
parcels,
I
one
see.
was 95 and one was 83, so.
There's a lot more of that in the city than you think.
In buying the animal hospital, I found out all kinds of stuff from like 1920s and 30s on just sort of plots. I'm like, whatever, just let's close. That's all I want to do. So thank you so much. Appreciate you guys bringing that to our attention, and hopefully that helps. You bet. Okay, marching forward, annual downtown maintenance walk recap. Mr. Vice Chair.
We did a walk a couple of weeks ago. Town looks great. The buildings need a little paint, a little trim, a little tile work. The big thing we noticed were like around the flower beds, the caps are starting to wear a little bit, and the chief had someone go out there and touch one up. Looks great. So, and then MDOT, a lot of their posts have to be repainted, or we talked about stripping them. But altogether, the town looks great. In fact, we spent time in the alleys, and the trash cans looked great. It wasn't, last year there was stuff all over. This year it looked a lot better, so the town looks great. I mean, everyone's doing a good job, just a little maintenance is needed. But what a big difference from when we started this with Vito to now. Huge, so we're in good shape.
The level of politeness has decreased to step up, which is good.
I mean,
yeah.
it's
Alleyway
great.
was clean when you came. There wasn't oil on
was.
the, okay.
No, I mean, it looked good, very good.
That's great.
Good job.
Well, that's
Tony.
good news. Yeah, so thanks.
That's
for
what I
the-
keep telling everybody, but,
Right? No, it's fantastic. So thank you for that update. I appreciate that. Okay, marching forward, receipts of regular reports, Executive Director update, Madam Director.
Just wanted to mention, 2 deadlines coming up. Snowman Stroll artist applications close August 30th. So if anyone's interested in submitting a design, if you go to our website, which is downtownrochestermi.com, click on our events tab and go to what's happening, and you get the link for all that. Everything is online. And then for our 3rd annual Bill LaPuma Community Spirit Award, nominations are also closing on August 30th. We've gotten some great nominations so far, but we're always looking for more.
Fantastic. Anything else?
No.
Events and marketing.
The only thing that I'll mention, I don't know if anyone saw on social this last week, that we had the idea, we're starting to kind of look at the basement because we've got a lot of things, 11 years of festivals of trees, had a lot of things that we can't really use to put, but they were all brand new. So we had this big idea that we're going to have our big bright Christmas sale just to see if we could, have a little fundraising. So just selling off things that we had left that we can't use, we made $3,500. So all that's going to go back to festival trees for this year.
Junk in the basement.
Yep. So, but it was all good stuff, but it was a lot of fun. People enjoyed it. So, and they're, do you do this every year? I'm like, God, I hope not. This was enough. But that was a nice little fundraiser for the PSD. So, other than that, farmers market's been going really well. We did our dog days promotion last month. The market is full every week. We don't have any openings now until October. So it's all been really good. And as Taylor mentioned here, the farmers are very excited about the new project and just waiting to hear more information.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, we'll tell them our goal is to have it open for them for next season, so.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Financial report is in your packet. Any questions, feel free to ask now or reach out to myself or the director. Biz Dev.
You're gonna have to cover that.
Oh, sure. And I know a lot of people were there, so this is a little repeat for some people, but we did have our annual business development meeting at the Royal Park Hotel at the end of last month. It was very well attended. We had over 80 people attending. A lot of great information. Nick did his usual Nick thing and just went off to the races. Little AV issue at the very beginning. We couldn't get the slides to flip, but we got it. But other than that, a lot of people called afterwards and really enjoyed it, or people that couldn't attend said they heard good things, wanted to get an update and some more information. So that was all really great. And then our next event coming up for the Business Development Committee will be the Holiday Expo in November. Applications are out to the downtown businesses and last year's attendees. The event date is November 11th at the Royal Park Hotel. So after Labor Day, we'll put it out to the general public. But right now, applications are open for downtown businesses and previous attendees.
Fantastic. I thank the mayor for the kind words in the introduction at the beginning, and I think it was awesome. I thought it was a great event, and everybody seemed
I did too. Nick was pretty wound up.
Yeah, which is usual, but whatever. So it is what it is.
He was more focused than previous years.
Man.
You can just take that for whatever that might be.
I think he needs a few more slides next time. Jeremy.
100%. Come on, man, you got to manage that guy. What's your problem?
Yeah.
It was great. He did a great job. So we only tease him because he's not here to defend himself. Site. Anything else? All right, very good. On to miscellaneous. I do have something I wanted to cover real quick. We had brought to my attention that we had 3 deaths in the community, all related to folks that either served on the DDA and or Principal Shopping District, just all unexpected. So Karen Koski, who was our recording secretary for a number of years, passed away. Jeff Whitby and Jeff Leduc, all 3 of those folks, God called them home, and I just wanted to extend to their families our sincere, gratitude for their support over the years and condolences on their passing. And, just kind of keep them in your thoughts and prayers. So with that, any additional miscellaneous items from anybody?
When we were doing the city walk,
Yes.
there's that space at the end of Walnut right at University, that little park space. There was some talk about like doing a design competition or something. So is that going anywhere yet?
Not yet, because we'd actually have to get a budget and money, so we got run it by the board first. Not quite there yet, but the idea was we were looking at the space that currently houses the donor wall. And the committee, and there were a couple of members beyond the committee, they're on DDA, that were walking with us, and we were looking at that, because really, if you take the donor wall out of there, It's actually a little bit bigger space than you might think. And so everybody was throwing ideas, and then Nick and I were talking about back in the day when they created what is the Lions Park that the Rewalds are now rehabbing. What the DDA did, this is actually before my time, but they did a call for designs competition. And so the idea was that architects could go ahead and put in designs, and then the DDA, give them a budget, give them parameters for whatever that was. And then if their design were selected, then they were selected as the architect for the project, and then, it would go as the regular with, getting construction bids and building it and all that kind of stuff. So we thought, we had a lot of good ideas, but maybe there's people that actually do this for a living that might have better ideas than us. So, so that's something, it may end up on goals and objectives.
Well, I was just going to say, so it feels like a good direction would be for site to kind of come up with that plan. So Bob, if you want to work with those guys on that, make a recommendation, and then let's just get it on goals and objectives and get her funded for next year, whatever that looks like. But I love that idea. I think it's fantastic.
We thought that was fun. So, and now with the Graham coming online, moving the donor wall, people that had donated there, given the opportunity that we would have an opportunity within the Graham, so then it wouldn't just be
100%.
popping up the donor wall.
100% respect of everybody who's stepped up for us, and we want to make sure we recognize that. So, yes, sir.
I have a question on that. Last time we were down there, they were talking about having, one of the things they were talking about is those the games where you throw the ball or the ping pong through the hole, and it seemed to get discounted a little bit right there at the end. Is that officially, we've eliminated that idea?
I think we're moving to this idea of having this design competition and seeing what other ideas are out there, and maybe things are included with cornhole, maybe they're not.
But we're not discouraging it.
I don't think so. I know the city just put in permanent cornhole boards.
Down by the volleyball courts in the park.
Yeah.
They're used because I go for a walk every night, and the people are using them.
Yeah, and we have ones that we built. We have traditional Love Local ones that we pull out for a lot of our events, and we also have tombstone ones that we made that we use at Halloween, which are super fun. And then Fire and Ice or Frost Fest or whatever iteration it will be taking in the future, we do ice cornhole. So it's regular cornhole bags that only last for that event, and then we throw them away, but they're ice. So we do embrace cornhole, but yeah, I mean, who knows what's, people might come up with of what that space could be.
Yeah, we talked about bocce ball too. I like that idea.
Old Italian men in white jackets, smoking cigars, playing bocce out there.
I bet people would use that. The Italian people arguing with each other with the ruler. What about pickleball?
We got Germani, and we got.
What about pickleball? This is America.
Yes, pickleball. I'm so glad that Nick isn't here because he has a certain feeling about pickleball.
Mr. Hills has a lot of pickleball.
Yeah, so that.
But we're Rochester, and this is America.
Wow. Okay, so speaking to pickleball, that area is too small for pickleball. However, our team loves the idea of pickleball, and so as one of the programming possibilities for the market space, there are temporary pickleball things that you can rent the whole setup so that you could have like a tournament or something like that. Just for temporary. I mean, DDA doesn't own any property that we could put permanent pickleball up, unless you want to, get rid of a parking lot. But talk to the city about that.
That was popular in the Olympics. No, I'm just
They do that at the marina up north in Caseville. They bring those temporary ones up to the parking lot.
People love it.
Everybody uses them.
I know. So, so we've got it
let's
on
pull
our
it together,
list.
people. We're almost done. Actually, we are done. So, thank you for this motion. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Ben, do you want me to sign this, or do you want to sign it?
For.